Hello, this is Dr. Gretchen Kubacki from PCOS Wellness, and I am coming to you today to talk to you about infertility. It is definitely a common topic and problem for women who have PCOS, as most of us know at this point. And it is one of the worst things from a psychological or emotional health perspective also because it's really devastating. Mostly we hope, think, assume, plan that we will be able to have children whenever we feel like it. But then PCOS comes along and throws a real clunker in that. And a lot of us have had problems, for months or years trying to get pregnant or trying to stay pregnant. And it takes a long time before you really get the kind of help you need, get sent to the right doctors. Maybe it's not just your gynecologist, maybe it's an endocrinologist or a reproductive endocrinologist. And maybe that's when you first get diagnosed with PCOS. That's very common. Or maybe you had the PCOS, but nobody really told you how hard it was going to be to get pregnant. And so this is all a horrible surprise to you. So what are the best things that you can do to help yourself deal from the emotional side? Of course, you've got to get good doctors to deal with the physical side, but it's really helpful to, as much as you feel comfortable, talk about this with friends, family, if you have a trusted colleague that you might be working with, or a classmate, or something like that. Sometimes families can put a lot of pressure on, like that mom of yours who wants the grandbabies now. Or you might have a sister who has kids already and who wants you to be joining in on that. Or maybe it's your friends. Everybody else is already a mom, and that's really hard because you're not a mom. And so pick and choose wisely. You don't have to share with everyone about what you're going through, but if you can get a little bit of support outside of just yourself or your partner or spouse, it's going to be really helpful. There's been historically a lot of shame, embarrassment, hiding things related to infertility, especially if you've had miscarriage loss or repeated miscarriage losses. Again, very common that we just haven't talked about those things. There's a lot of shame, a lot of feeling like you're a failure. And this is something where, there's a medical language around failure. And when a procedure doesn't work, they say that the patient failed the procedure. Well, I would like to say that the procedures failed the patients. So like if you've had IVF or some sort of other assisted reproductive technology procedure and it doesn't work, it's not that you have failed, it's that the procedure has failed to help you out in the way that it was intended to. So I want to take away some of that guilt, shame, embarrassment right now. These things are really complicated. I don't know how far into the process of figuring out your infertility you are, but it's this complex, delicate mix of timing, hormones, your specific body outside of just the hormonal situation, your partner or sperm donor, depending upon how you're going about getting pregnant. Again, the very precise timing. I mean, supposedly there's like this nice window in which you can get pregnant every month, but when you have PCOS, everything is messed up and you cannot rely on that. Which also means, by the way, you could have a surprise baby. I have seen so many women with PCOS over the age of 40 who had just totally given up, thrown their hands up in the air and said, I've been trying and trying for years and years. This is never going to work. And bam, pregnancy. And they end up with healthy babies after 40. But it can be really weird and life disrupting too when this thing that you wanted so badly and then finally gave up on, resigned yourself to, and now, whoa, you're over 40 and you've got a baby. So my take-home message is if you've got PCOS, start thinking about your fertility sooner rather than later. So even if this is not a topic for you right this moment, you want to address it sooner rather than later. Why? Because for us with PCOS, it may not be just a quick visit to a reproductive endocrinologist where you take some Clomid or some sort of other follicle stimulating medication and then boom, you're pregnant. No, for us it often takes many, many months, even years of trials and errors, and sometimes you do have to resort to things like donor sperm or donor eggs, and those are things that can get pretty complicated from a legal and financial perspective also. So I'm going to talk in another video about how to deal with some more of the emotional fallout from infertility that does not seem to be resolved. So check us out on Facebook at PCOS Psychology. It's free to join, and I'm in there every day answering questions. And don't forget to sign up for my mailing list at PCOSwellness.com. If you'd also like and share this video, I would be very grateful, because it allows me to spread the word about PCOS wellness and about the psychological side of PCOS. Thank you so much for tuning in.